CD radio。
你先住在地方还是？
好，现在。
Yeah.
Hey, I'm Asgeir. Stay tuned for City Radio for more music and fun. Hey, this is Asgeir. Stay tuned on City Radio and you'll be cool every day. Listening to City Radio is the best moment to enjoy music. I'm Asgeir.
Okay, good. So next we are doing the briefly interview. 哦，可以吗？I think the first question is, since your new album Silence has released in Taiwan, I think for Taiwan people we are just about to get to know you. So I think you can just briefly introduce yourself. Yeah.
My name is Asgeir, and I'm 21 years old, and I'm a musician from Iceland, and yeah, we released this album in the silence just a few weeks ago around the world, and we're touring that album right now.
So can you teach us how to pronounce your name?
Yeah, in Iceland it's pronounced Asgeir.
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 Yeah. But yeah, outside of Iceland it's it changes. But Asgeir or Asgeir.
Okay, so the correct pronunciation, you gotta know your tongue a bit, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. For this new album, The Silence and Release, we know you do it for the third language version. The second one is the English version.
Yeah.
And it's gonna make you going to be worldwide. And you found John Grant to do the English lyrics.
Yeah.
Yes. So can you tell about a bit your collaboration with John Grant?
Yeah. Yeah, first we did this Icelandic album called Deeply to the Third, and then our idea was kind of always to translate, to release that album worldwide, and yeah, well, with the translation we wanted to have someone, because the Icelandic lyrics are really poetic and really well written. We sort of want to have someone who was a lyricist and a musician and spoke English as his native language, So he was kind of the perfect guy for the job, and he had been staying in Iceland for some time, and playing around Reykjavik with bands, and his name was sort of all over the place, and yeah, he seemed like just a really nice guy to work with. So we just called, it was quite simple. I just called him and asked if he had the time to help us with his translation, and he liked the idea immediately, and we met up and talked about it, and just a few weeks later we started to work together. It was really simple, and at the time he was recording his second album, Papering Ghosts, in Iceland, with Icelandic producer, and I had just released this Icelandic album, and we were kind of always playing all around, and didn't really have that much time to really focus on this like we should have, so we had to meet up, we had to try and record those songs, I think 3 or 4 times to really get it to be convincing and satisfying for all of us, but in the end, it just really clicked, and pretty happy with it.
Mm-hmm. So, like you said, Icelandic is not an easy language. So, have you worried about if it will translate in English? Would it lose its origin meaning?
Well, for me, like at the time when this was happening. Everything in my life was changing, and it was really a strange time for me. I didn't really know what was going on and why I was getting all this attention, and it was just I had no clue, you know. So this was something that came up, and I wasn't too concerned about those things, you know. I was more, like I said, everything was changing, and I was more thinking about and concerned about what was really going on in my life, you know. But I knew that I wanted to do this, and I knew that I wanted to try to go outside of Iceland and connect to more people, and this was just one way of doing it, and I thought it was right, and I still do. You know, we have gained a lot of fans and support by doing this, and it really, you know, it doesn't take that much away. You know, of course there are some like old Icelandic expressions or words that are really difficult to really just direct translate, but we just went some way around it, and in the end it has the same meaning, you know, and does the same thing. And also the Icelandic version, you know, it isn't like it's lost, you know. We still play those songs in Icelandic live on concerts, and we mix it up, you know, some in English and some in Icelandic, and I think we will always do that. And the Icelandic album is available if you really want to get that instead, you know. So, you know, it for me it really doesn't change that much.
Okay, so last question. In this album, the King and Cross become a very great hit. What is this song like about?
Well, that's a strange one. That song. That's a song that I never imagined to be on the album track, and you know, it was something that I thought was really different from all of the other songs, and just the atmosphere that I had and the sound that I had in mind, you know. But in the end, when you listen to the whole album, it is a whole. But the lyric is quite different, because my dad wrote like the first verse and then a chorus and then the second verse, and then the other lyricists that wrote a few lyrics on the album wrote the third verse, and that was because when we were recording the song, I asked my dad if he could write those two verses and the chorus, and he did that in a few days, you know, and then we got the lyric, and then we started recording the vocal tracks, and I sort of felt that we needed another verse for the track, and when we were doing this, you know, this project was nothing in Iceland, and nobody knew about it, and for me, we were just, you know, recording a few songs with a few friends in the studio, you know, and nothing more. So for me it was nothing serious, and my friend Julius, who is the other lyricist on the album, he was with me in the studio while we were recording, so I got the idea of just, why, you know, shouldn't we just sit down in the kitchen and write down a few words that we could sing as a verse, you know. And we did that just in 10-15 minutes and wrote something down, and I sang that, and then in the end that was used on the album, and that was the song that was the hit track of the album, and the lyric doesn't even, you know, it's more of a surrealism, you know. It just puts, you know, a lot of different images in your head, really, you know, uses a lot of metaphors for everything, and it's mostly about that the words really, you know, make their own instrument in the whole sound and the whole atmosphere of the song, you know, instead of having some really big specific meaning of anything, you know. It's more is what it does to your mind, you know, and for me it doesn't really mean anything, you know. It's just a really, a lot of images and a big world that it creates, you know.
Okay, thanks. That's a cool story.
你来按一下那个。
不用。
啊。
可以帮你开，两个都可以帮你开，手机也可以。
我是最后一个。
对。
别人
先按暂停，没关系。
啊，对。